the beauty of stakeholders is that you bring people in that are relevant to the chain.
Okay.
There are some people like the banks, they are relevant to a chain because they supply the finance. You know, if it's the Bank of Industries, for example, they are funding certain kind of projects, and the products you are making fit into their line, they become part of the stakeholders that will come in. Your state government is interested in what you are doing, they become part of the stakeholders. Then all people that are relevant to making one item of the total product or the other becomes part of the stakeholders. But the importance of you who started the chain is that you have set a standard, and selection of these stakeholders is based on that standard. You will not reduce the standard or select anyone that will diminish the standard. That's the beauty of, and in fact, when stakeholders meet, like some time ago, we met at my NGO, we're discussing with stakeholders on this issue of value chain and how to help state governments in Nigeria to work together on economic cluster basis. You know, when we came together, there were some ideas we had, but there were many ideas we didn't have until we had a stakeholders meeting.
The synergy.
Yes, and people began to say, oh, why don't we do it this way? Why don't we do it? And I said, wow, we didn't think about that. So when you work together as stakeholders, even though he's the one making the thread, he can tell you that my thread will not work with that weak fabric that you have brought. You better strengthen the fabric. So you give ideas to one another. So you can't know it all. Yeah, you can't know it all. Even what you know, you think you know. When you meet as stakeholders in a stakeholders forum, you find out that people have ideas higher than yours, especially young people. They have brand new ideas that you never thought about. So it's a good thing. And incidentally, you mentioned the issue of clusters. When we are dealing with value chains in terms of the country rather than just entrepreneurs, that actually is important. Clusters, economic clusters. Like I mentioned at the beginning, God has been so wonderful. He has blessed this nation with resources in all the geopolitical zones. And that you can actually have economic clusters, like in the southeast, they manufacture things a lot. In the north, some parts of them, they do agriculture a lot. There are things that different parts of the country have been blessed with. And when you act as clusters, what they produce in the east, they are not going to consume everything there. They have to take it to the north. And the north has to bring agriculture to them. So when you think in terms of economic clusters, you are thinking of how can the government encourage those clusters by building infrastructures for those clusters. And at the end, building roads, building rails for them to connect with one another. Because it's a system.
It's a system.
Just like when you are thinking of an entrepreneur who is going to think of the workers, the distributors, the marketers coming together. As a nation also. Yes, pardon me? HR. Yes. As a nation, you also have to think of this thing that is made in Maiduguri, how can I get it to Lagos? This thing that is made in Lagos, how can it go to Port Harcourt? What kind of infrastructure can government put in place? How can I ensure that Ogun State and Lagos State collaborate to ensure that they work together because they share their contiguous states? They have the